Okay, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back, everybody, to History Help. Today's video is going to be on World War I, as you can all see from the title screen. So without further ado, let's get into this. The inevitality of war. So this is basically why the war started. So June 28th, 1914, Archduke Francis Ferdinand of Austria was assassinated. July 5th, 1914, Germany issues the A.H. blank check, pledging military assistance if Austria-Hungary goes to war against Russia. July 23rd, 1914, Austria issues Serbia an ultimatum. The invasion of war continued. July 28th, 1914, Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia, which at this time was part of Russia. July 29th, 1914, Russia orders full mobilization of its troops. August 1st, 1914, Germany declares war on Russia. August 2nd, 1914, Germany demands Belgium declare access to German troops. Albert I of Belgium denied permission. August 2nd, 1914, Germany declared war on France. Why? The Streitkräfte plan. August 4th, 1914, Great Britain declared war on Germany for violating Belgian neutrality. And this little map here just shows the status of European powers on August 9th as 1914. You can see everything that's sort of that line is allied. The central is Germany and Austria. The neutral is everything with the dots. So 1914, 1915, illusions and stalemate. Many Europeans were excited about war. Defend yourself against the aggressors. Domestic differences were put aside. 1914, 1915, illusions, stalemates continued. They thought the war would be over in a few weeks, but they ignored the length and brutality of the American Civil War, which became a prototype to World War I. Believed their modern industrial war could not be conducted for more than a few months. They thought they'd be home by Christmas. The fatal attraction of war, and then finally, exhilarating release from everyday life, a glorious adventure. The war would rid nations of selfishness, a spark to relive peace upon heroism. So now that we get back to the Streitkräfte plan, destructive nature. Okay, so as you can see here by this map, it's a little bit grainy, but not that much. So the Streitkräfte plan was to take and bring German troops through Belgium to fight in France, because there's sort of this line right here of German Austrian troops that were sort of fighting the German Austrian troops that were fighting the French troops back and forth there, and they want to try to get around them, so they decided they're going to bring troops in through Belgium. So that is more about the Streitkräfte plan. It was to invade invade Western Front first, after defeating France, and concentrate on the Eastern Front, avoid fighting a two-front war. So Germany made vast encircling movement through Belgium to enter Paris, underestimated the speed of the British mobilization, quickly sent troops to France. September 6th to 10th, 1914, the Battle of Marne stopped the Germans, but French troops were executed. Both sides dug trenches for shelter. Stalemate. The trenches. Trenches dug from the English Channel to Switzerland, 6,250 miles, 6 to 8 feet deep, were mobilized both sides for 4 years. And here's just a little picture of what the trenches would look like. And that one. More pictures about the trenches. on. Ladies and gents, we had a quick situation here. Oh, I think there's Alright, here we go. Back to it. Sorry about that, guys. I'm sure no was gonna do that. Don't know why I was doing that. We'll figure that out so it doesn't happen in the next video. So, life in the trenches. Elaborate systems of defense, barbed wire, concentrate machine gun nests, concrete machine gun nests, mortar batteries, and troops lived in holes underground. Boredom. Soldiers read to pass the time. Sarah Bernhardt came out to the front to read poetry to the soldiers. Death is everywhere. We all had on us the stench of dead bodies. Death numbered the soldiers' minds. Psychological devastation. Death is everywhere. Mustard gas, carried by the wind, burned out soldiers' lungs, deadly in the trenches, where it would burn, where it would sit at the bottom. Trench warfare baffled military leaders. Attempt a breakthrough, then return to a war movement. Millions of young men sacrificed attempting the breakthrough. The Battle of Verdun. 10 months, 700,000 men killed. The changes of war. New weapons crippled the frozen front. Poison gas, mustard gas, hand grenades, flamethrowers, tanks, airplanes, says tanks again, and submarines. And then another thing that we should mention that was invented during this time was dynamite. So that made the explosive end of things a lot more deadly. So airplanes, dogfights in the air, bombing was inaccurate, romanticized the battlefields. Paris and London bombed. Pilots fired pistols and threw hand grenades. The Eastern Front. The Russian army moved into eastern Germany on August 30th, 1914. Defeated. The Austrians kicked out of Serbia. The Italians attacked Austria in 1915. They came to Austria and aid and pushed back. Austrian aid and pushed the Russians back into their own territory. Much more mobile, more than the West, but loss of life still very high. 1915, 2.5 million Russians killed, captured or wounded. Germany, Austria, and Hungary, joined by Bulgaria in September of 1915, attacked and eliminated Serbia from the war. The home front. So just looking back here at America, sort of similar to World War II, which is a video we posted a couple days ago. So the woman took, as I said in that video, a woman took jobs in the factories and they received lower wages, but they were trying to make munitions and all this stuff and send over to the war front for their husbands and for the other soldiers that were fighting in the war. So censorship. Not told about that. So yeah, they weren't really told too much about how the war was going. They weren't told about the high death toll. And they could really only think about the battlefields. And they always thought that soldiers like to go to death and over the battle. We show poetry, epic and shoulders. Censorship continues. Newspapers describe troops as itching to go over the top. Government reported to the press that the life in the trenches had promoted good health and clean air, which we know is not true. The mustard gas. On leave, troops would stay together so that they could sympathize with each other. Impossible to hide death. Woman in mourning. Badly wounded soldiers returned home. Opposition began to emerge. The war ends. 1917. Russia surrenders a separate peace. The U.S. joins the war on the Allied side. November 11, 1918. Armistice. The death toll of the war. Allied powers, 42 million served and 22 million casualties. Central powers, 23 million served, 15 million casualties. Social impact. Men lost limbs and were mutilated. The birth rate fell markedly. Invalids unable to work, ethnic hostility, and the influenza epidemic. So yeah, right towards the end of the war was when the influenza epidemic began to start. And that was in the 1920s in that area. And that lasted for a couple of years, and they were able to get a vaccine for that. And that's why you have to get vaccinated for the flu every year, because they don't want the same epidemic that happened in 1920 to happen again in this day and age. As you know, we're in this pandemic right now as well of the coronavirus. So the psychological impact. Never such incidents again. Bitterness towards the aerostatic officers whose lives were never in danger. And that is it for our World War One video. If you guys liked the video, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys. Hope you have a good day.